In the last video, we identified the overarching teacher styles. To recap, we have the ones that teach you what you need to know and test you on it. Then we have the type that tell you what you need to know but test you on something else. And the ones that don't tell you what you need to know but test you on what you should. There are also subcategories, and we'll talk about them in this video and how to deal with them. Let's start with the tenured. This can be either a blessing or a curse. This teacher no longer has any consequences for their actions and has long since forgotten how to give a care. They don't give a care about you, and they don't give a care about the school. They just don't want to be hassled. They will probably lose your work and just grade you on whether or not they like you, so just be friendly. But not a kiss ass. Nobody likes a kiss ass. Usually. You can get away with straight up not showing up for class after the first one. Just be there for midterms. Up next is the jock. This subcategory is more or less harmless. They just manage to somehow work in whatever sport they favor into every lesson. Usually it's football. Sometimes it can be difficult to follow along if you don't understand how football works. If this is a problem for you, I recommend to stop being a communist. The next category is the fellow kid. This teacher is usually pretty young and remembers what it's like to be a student. The problem is that they are not a student. They want the students to like them though, for some reason. But they don't take into account that their memes are not dank enough, and they are dated. Oftentimes they will pick a certain clique to appease, but they are wasting their time. If you can identify a fellow kid, I recommend abusing this knowledge while you can. No need to pay attention or do homework. They are the cool teacher that won't mind, or will give your grade a healthy rounding up. Remind them of this often. It is only a matter of time until they turn into the next category, which is the jerk. This teacher tried to be liked and failed. Hard. Now they are jerks and will be mean for no reason. Well, there is a reason. They make it so no one likes them because they couldn't get anyone to like them. At least this way it feels like it's on their terms. But really, it's the only option they have. To deal with these guys, do your best to fly under the radar. Don't let them overhear you bitching either, because they're still pretty childish and you don't want to deal with a child that has authority. The last category is a bit of a wild card. Probably prone to larger population areas too. And I'm going to give them the Smash Brothers treatment. They earned it. Yeah. The foreigner. This guy is clearly overqualified for the course they are teaching. He knows his stuff inside and out. The problem is, you can't friggin' understand him. And they don't understand how to teach either. Either the way that they were taught is so different than what is accepted here, or they are so advanced that they can't fathom why the whole class can't figure it out on their own anyways. Any question is answered with something unrelated, usually because they didn't understand the question. It's the most frustrating shit because you can't even argue with them. The language barrier is too much for both sides. To deal with this guy is tough. Often they ignore the textbook for some reason. You would think they would want to rely heavily on it, but this is rarely the case. Your best bet is if you can find somebody who has been through the course before and passed. Their tips could be invaluable. So that's all of them. Look at that. We did it. A whole 2 videos on the subject. What a champ. Generally, you can mix and match all of these subcategories to fit under the overall 3 that we discussed in the last video. But this becomes a cluster fudge of a diagram, and I just don't want to deal. So... outro.